Hello and welcome. It is the 90-day website mastery podcast. It's episode 30. It's our 30th episode, Pascal. Can you
That's
believe it?
incredible. Yes, I can, because I can read that the number has appeared on the stream. But for something that was just meant to be an additional bit of fun and sharing a bit of knowledge after a successful webinar launch, I'm just very, very pleased. I'm delighted that the audience keep giving us feedback and keeps saying to us, keep going. This is interesting. We like the format. So, all viewers and listeners, it's your fault.
Let's blame them. This is the perfect companion to our 90-day website mastery program. We're excited to bring you even more valuable insights and practical advice to help you enhance your website's performance. This is about feeling proud of your website. Join us as we explore strategies to make your website work harder for you and reignite your pride in your online presence. We've got 4 segments as always. We have the You Ask, We Answer. We have website stories where one of us will share some information, perhaps what's happened this week with us. And then the website engine room, where we've got an app or a piece of kit that's going to help you as a website manager or content creator make your life easier and help you feel proud of your website again. And whilst mentioning the website engine room, we have already taken the first 25 episodes and taken those 50 pieces of apps or technical kit and put them into an ebook. We will share the link in the show notes. And of course, we finish with the website call to action to ensure that you get the message that every single piece of content should have a call to action. So we will give you one change or adjustment that you could be making to your website right now to help you start feeling proud of your website again. So we're going to start with You Ask, We Answer, and I shall hand over to Pascal.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Jonny. So we're going to go into part 2 of a question that was asked last week, 29, and the question is as follows: Can AI help me with my SEO campaign? Do you have any tips for using ChatGPT or Google Gemini to optimize my website content? And in the last episode, 29, we looked at what we called on-page optimization. You and I agreed, Jonny, that it's such a vast subject, one of our favorite subjects, SEO, that we wanted to be able to give a comprehensive answer to people. So on-page optimization using AI is featured in episode 29, but today we're going to be talking about off-page optimization. Now, a bit of a technical term, a bit of an odd term, off-page optimization, but this is essentially this business of link building, this idea of you being featured and cited, if you will, on other properties, from another website to maybe a forum to even social media. And the reflection I want to have with you, Jonny, therefore, is, the question is, can AI help me with the research phase of link building? And then can AI help me even study and summarize for me the kind of content that this particular website I've identified would most likely accept as submission? And then can AI also help me review and refine my activities? But when you hear the term off-page optimization, Jonny, bear in mind the work that you do with your customers, what comes to mind immediately in terms of activities and tactics?
Yeah, so I think the first thing to consider is that this is all about your reputation, what people are saying about you, who's linking to you. This is about trust. It's about reviews, and it's about what Google can see going on around the World Wide Web that's talking or linking to you. And it's very much about relationships and about PR. This. So link building for me is very much about PR as well. So, just in the olden days when we wanted to be featured in a particular newspaper or a particular magazine or particular piece of trade press, now it's about being featured on a particular website that has relevancy, because it's all well and good having the sort of reviews and the reputation and the trust, but we also need that relevancy as well. And where tools like ChatGPT can come along is help us analyze competitors, and more so help us analyze where we could get backlinks from. So if we have a look at competitors, we can then look at the backlinks that they've got, and we can start understanding what relevant websites we might be able to get backlinks from. And then using ChatGPT, we can, as you were insinuating, we can help understand the type of content that those websites are typically promoting and typically using, so that we can find the right tone of voice and the right sort of the right way in with them to try and get a piece of content put onto their website and try and get that gold dust backlink. So that's just one of the starting points, is analyzing backlinks of competitors using ChatGPT to then start thinking about where could we get some backlinks from.
And I sometimes wonder, in terms of the work that we do, which is about both upskilling and also kind of guiding our customers into what is sometimes something that would be an occasional activity. You do what you can with the time budget that you've got. And I wonder whether link building is no longer the right phrase. And I'm going to take you back to the webinars that we ran as part of the launch for the program, where we really went into dissecting that this is more about online PR. You're absolutely right. This is more about online reputation management, and it can be helpful to take us back to a time before the internet, where the pursuit in terms of increasing awareness and trust was to find out, based on behavioral analysis, which newspapers and which radio stations were favored by your customers, which event they attended, which networks they would kind of hover and take part in to be in touch with the news and the development in their industries and so on. So very, very quickly, in addition to the competition in webinar, if you recall, we recommend doing that behavior-based research on essentially what events are your customers likely to attend. I can guarantee that those events organizers will have a website, desperate for content and a valuable contribution. Think about that. Typically, where do they go for their news and updates? There would be some online kind of properties in charge of that. Then you have membership type organization, societies, institute, federations, and you name it. Sometimes even just very informal business clubs. They will have an online presence. They will have a website. They will have a blog in desperate need for updates, and you can come to them with a solution. And then the one that is often forgotten is also suppliers who complement what you do. So you can't obviously work with the competition. You couldn't ask competitor to publish one of your articles, but your services, your products, your customer will have needs beyond those. So can you do a bit of research? Can you ask your customers what they buy in addition to your services, and find those who complement? And I'll take you back to my days as a young marketing officer. I did 2 years without the internet, Jonny, and our job was to go to visit a client, usually to do a bit of prospecting. And whilst you're waiting in reception, I used to love looking at the magazines in reception, because clearly these were the magazines that were read by my customers. And I used to, back then we didn't have a mobile phone, so I'm ashamed to say I used to rip out the page with the editor's contact details and put it in my briefcase.
I remember doing that many times. I really do. Whilst you were talking and talking about the different types of backlinks you can get, because you're right, it could be from suppliers, it could be from membership organizations, associations, all sorts of different places. But do you know where I think the first place that you can use ChatGPT for, in terms of offsite search engine optimization, is actually just brainstorming. So describing the business that you are, describing the clients that you have, describing the sector that you're in, and working with ChatGPT as this sort of digital assistant that has a huge ton of knowledge, thinking about, where could I get backlinks from, and exploring the different avenues, and then exploring the approaches, the content ideas, and even to some extent coming up with some of the email suggestions on how you could approach some of these things, or how you could approach some relationships. And I'm not suggesting that we then just let the AI do the entire thing, but this helps formulate your ideas. It helps structure your content, structure your ideas, and also prioritize as well, in terms of not where to start, but where's going to have the biggest bang for your buck, where's going to have the biggest, you've only got an infinite amount of time, so where should you start and where should you put those efforts in? So I think just the concept of brainstorming with your digital assistant.
I would agree. And then from there, you move on to almost kind of one-to-one coaching session. Well, tell me more about what is meant by that, by the expert. Or if you want to do some research, I've done quite a bit of testing on kind of my go-to, and I've got Gemini and Perplexity usually open as tabs. But tell me about the award-winning off-page optimization campaigns out there. Because if they are won award, but what did they do that is a bit different to most and so on, and you can really start to put together a nice little overview of what it is, how it's done generally, but also how it's been done maybe more exclusively, so that you have that broader knowledge. It won't happen overnight. I mean, off-page SEO is an ongoing activity, both on-page and off-page. I would say on-page you can get to a point, I would argue, where you are reasonably happy with what you've done, but the off-page is an always-on project, isn't it?
Absolutely. And don't forget, it's not all about backlinks. It's about the reviews. It's about social media. It's about all sorts of things. But you can use AI to help you figure out what those things are and figure out how to start coming up with a review strategy, how to start using social media to enhance your search engine optimization. So it's a bit of an endless opportunity that many businesses are not engaging with at the moment.
Super. Listen, shall we move on then? Time is against us with our next segment, the website stories. Now, as I mentioned in the introduction, this is episode 3030, and I thought we should do something a bit special to celebrate this brilliant milestone. And I must confess, viewers and listeners, this is a bit about me and what I want from the show. Now, listen to this. About, a week ago, Jonny, you went down to London for a conference. Sadly, I was booked for an event, so I couldn't go, so serious FOMO was felt by I. And you went to the From Here to There Intuit Mailchimp conference in London, and I saw the photos, I saw the social media stories and so on, and I said, tell you what, on the next podcast I need to get some insight from you about what was discussed, what it was like and so on, and of course about your encounter with an AI robot.
Well, yes, there was an encounter with an AI robot, which was quite freaky, and she, dare I give her a gender, was looking all around the audience and was very switched on in terms of where to look and when. Which was a touch freaky, and she ended up being on a panel, dare I say, giving answers and being part of the conversation, which was, at the time, we were just sort of taking this as, well, this is just normal. This is Google on legs. This is just how things have evolved. But actually, if you were to stand back and really consider where we are, this is science fiction. This is what we've seen in the movies many years ago, and it's actually now reality. So it was quite a bit of a wake-up call, really. But I think it was a brilliant conference. It was their annual conference. They were launching some new features. So there was the launch of SMS in the UK, which has been long awaited for. A lot of their competitors have been doing SMS for quite a while, so I think that was a really key thing that they needed to launch, but it's finally been launched, which is brilliant because it now combines the different types of marketing just in one platform, so the ability to email market and SMS at the same time to the same users, or certainly in workflows. And the second thing that they launched is their finance AI. So a part of the Inuit group, they have a finance package, and concentrating on some of their e-commerce clients, but also their B2B clients using the finance package that they have. They're able to make predictions and focus on what emails and what SMSs are actually going to hit the bottom line, so that there's constant optimization to help you figure out the best campaigns that are going to have the biggest impact on profit, which you can't argue with that, really. And so I'm very interested in the AI finance. We got a demo of it as a Mailchimp agency partner. I am going to get access to it as soon as the beta version's out, so it'll be interesting to see. But what was brilliant was the conference wasn't just about Mailchimp. There was some brilliant people there. Stephen Bartlett was there. Rory Sutherland, who I love his book. I'm about to mention the Alchemy, brilliant book which makes you stand back from marketing and think about behavioral science. And one of my favorite comedians, Catherine Ryan, was there. Managed to say hello and get a selfie with her. Of course, had to get a selfie. I like doing those things with some well-known people. But the sort of some of the key messaging, I guess, was around customer-centric marketing. So, going back to basics and doing sort of a full 180 and imagining you are the customer, and what do you want out of this? And, it sounds obvious. It's something that has been taught for many, many years, but so many businesses, organizations, marketing people forget it and don't put themselves in the customer's shoes. So some really simple, but very concrete advice, some very thought-provoking advice on pricing and how pricing, it's one of the 4 Ps of marketing, but often marketing departments do not get involved in price, don't think about price, but actually how important it is and why it was so important. We talked about different, or certainly what was being talked about was the power of different channels and not just putting all your eggs in one basket. And I think one of the biggest messages was embracing AI. So really taking the opportunity that's out there and riding this wave, because the reality is that businesses, organizations are going to get left behind if they do not embrace this. We were chatting prior to in the green room, we were chatting prior and we were talking about some analogies, and for me it was a bit like HMV decided never to go digital, and look what happened to them. And I think there's the companies that are using AI are going to fast forward very quickly, and I think the opportunities are too good to miss. But there's still this fear and this what's the word? This the belief that AI isn't as good as people think it is. But actually, both of us know it's about how you use it, and it's about where you use it in your strategy. So that was a quick overview. But I know that you've also been to a conference this week, so I will pass it back to you.
Now, thanks very much for the overview. It makes me even more jealous, to be honest with you, particularly the encounter with famous people. But I'm actually thinking the robot, I seem to struggle remembering the name. Is she called Emika or
Amica? I think it was Amica. Yeah.
Amica, designed by this amazing AI company in Cornwall. So, this is UK kind of success stories. But yeah, it so happens that only yesterday, and that's why I'm going to struggle to remember everything and have as well as structure as you. I was hosting an AI conference in Durham. I was speaking as well. I had a little slot, but this was really the first of a series of get-togethers of business owners and to stimulate conversations about how we're going to proceed and can we possibly learn from the last 30 years in terms of, on occasion, we've left the big brands and those who we think know better and are in authorities to make decisions on our behalf, and search engines, social media, data, reckon things. So it was a great day. I mean, it was literally the organizers had to get extra chairs in the room because people turned up that not booked and so on. Very, very popular. And there was 3 speakers. I was one of them. The first one was a chap we're going to hear more and more of called Shireen Matthew, who is a champion and advocate and advisor to government on AI for good, AI for people, and ethics. And I thought it was very relevant that we should start like that 18 months on from the launch of ChatGPT. He did a great presentation called How to Disrupt the AI Disruption. And it was essentially a moment where we say people, this is the moment where we can take charge and control of how this is going to progress moving forward. And he did this great presentation. I even learned a technique around presentation where he played some videos about AI solutions from robotics to data crunching and so on in full demo on screen with some light music, but he was narrating the video. And I must confess, to date, I've been more about let's watch the video and then I'll talk to you again. And I have to say, he created an interesting experience. So just, you're not public speakers, I take that away. So he had a big job, because he was talking about what is AI, how do we proceed with care and due governance and ethics, but also what is possible and where do you begin? This is quite overwhelming. So you had a bit of a system or a mantra, you could call it, called empower, engage, enhance, optimize, and transform. So the first one said start with benefits for you, your employees, and so on and so forth. So can you empower your employees and make sure that you've done a big review of all the activities and where can you have productivity gains, where can you save money, time, and so on. So start there. And then you can start to look at AI to engage your customers better and faster. And I thought it was interesting that you switched it around, said, start with you first. I know that's not a done thing, and then move to your customers. And then once that this is taking place, you can then enhance existing processes. And he's looking at things that are essentially maybe legacy issues around, anything you do in a business, and there has to be completely changed, change the software, change the process, and so on. Optimize would be more for things that are in place and working well, but you're not getting full value. And so can AI, either because you could query AI, as you've done with the example for the Mailchimp conference, this is working well, but you're missing out on the following. So optimizing to remove delays, frictions, and that kind of things. And transform is literally completely new build, new way of working, replacing, the way you think and the way you do things with AI. So that was kind of what he was presenting across a number of business functions, including sales and marketing. But he did finish with a long, I would say long, as in proportion to his presentation on ethics and governance. And he say, let's not make the mistakes of the past. Let's do it now. So as in, let's put in place right now your values, the way in which this is going to be, policed by the organization. So it's going to be an IT and AI policy, not just IT policy, and the way in which you're going to proceed ethically. We're showing lots of example of unethical use of AI, which include, for example, tracking the movement of your employees and saying, you seem to not walk in a straight line, therefore per year, you essentially wasting, 2 miles. And I mean, the kind of really stupid data crunching, that misguided management, we'll get into that. Now, very, very quickly, I then moved on to sales and marketing, and it was about using AI for blogging. And there was 3 things I did. One was to remind people about the overall digital marketing strategy, the overall way in which website needs to be run. I even asked the room, Jonny, to put their hand up if they felt proud of their website currently. And I would say only a quarter of the room felt proud. I said, well, I know some of you are very modest. Maybe the number is a bit higher. And then I moved into using AI for blogging. So from research, for ideation, not my favorite term, but it's kind of helpful. And then I did some live demonstrations. And I have to tell you, live demos are hard on there because you're on the keyboard, you're trying to time, look at the audience and so on. But we went through everything. We went through ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and Copilot, sorry, nearly forgot. I went through the journey of a blog, from the title to the structure to the draft to the image to the videos to promoting on social media. So we went through the whole shebang. And then finally, this event was wrapped up by Natalie M&A, who really, really surprised us. And I sound like I'm surprised that she surprised us, but she knows her stuff so well. And I had to look on my mobile phone because she shared a plethora of AI tools to help you with your next social media campaign. But she began by sharing giving a summary of the Hootsuite Consumer Trends Report. And I can only give you one negative information because time is against us, but literally, for now, 64% of social media use will find AI-produced content less trustworthy than non-AI-produced content. So there's tension there because we do want to use AI to be more productive and to produce better content faster, but the audience, if they can detect a whisper of AI contribution, they will disengage. But in terms of the tools, very quickly for our viewers and listeners, recommends to have a go at Adobe Express AI, not rolled out for all kind of countries, but it should be a key there. And she said, pay attention to the templates produced by Adobe Express AI. They seem to be in line with current preferences. She also mentioned something that I wouldn't use automatically, called the TikTok Creative Center AI. And so literally like an assistant will guide you through how to use vertical videos, what works, what doesn't work, and so on. So there's also a bit of learning in that. As I'm flicking through my phone, as some of you can tell, she mentioned, of course, don't forget the big boy like Canva Magic Studio is to be used and experimented with. And the one that we should all look forward to is called Meta Advantage Plus. It's not been rolled out in the UK yet, which is kind of very frustrating. But these are tip of the iceberg of what she explained on the day. So a great AI, and we close really with a demonstration from the Google I/O conference that you and I reviewed a few episodes ago, where the full assistant a la Emeka is on your phone. You can have conversations. You can even talk about things that happened in the past, things that you're pointing to, and they're also looking at getting this capability of the AI assistant talking to you in conversation mode to be part of your the glasses you wear.
What a phenomenal conference that we've both been to, really, and perhaps some of those tools that you've been mentioning may feature in our next segment, which we should really move on to, which is the website engine room. So I think perhaps some of those in future episodes will feature. But yeah, it's and interesting that only, you say, 25%, if modest, maybe 30%, are proud of their website. So I think we're going to continue this podcast until we at least hit, 60, 70% of people being proud of their website, because that is the reason we're here, because we know that the majority of people, you listening or watching right now, are probably not proud of your website, because the majority aren't. So we're here to help you on that journey and make you feel proud. Thanks for telling us all about that. Let's move on to the website engine room.
In this segment of the show, Jonny and I share one app, one solution that can make life easier as a website manager and content creator. So what is your selection for this episode, Jonny?
This week, I am mentioning TidyCal. It's Calendly's. It's an alternative to Calendly. TidyCal.com. It allows you to schedule, simplifies calendar management and booking meetings, and it integrates seamlessly with Zoom and Stripe and many other things. So it's just an alternative to Calendly and a lot cheaper and does just a good job. What would be yours this episode, Pascal?
So actually, this is inspired by the conference yesterday, and everybody said, the big breakthrough for them was to finally understand that the way you use those platforms is to have a conversation, and that you have to reconnect with the art of briefing somebody. It's but the trick of the mind, I think, is very helpful to call them an assistant, call them an agent, and imagine you're sending an email to someone that you know. And to practice the art of briefing, we're very lucky that Google has released for a while now, but it's been very discreet, the AI Test Kitchen. Don't know why the kitchen is in there, but that's what they've called it, the AI Test Kitchen. And within that, you can practice the art of briefing to create images in a function called ImageFX. You can also learn how to brief for music and sound effects, music.fx, and very, very soon we're going to have video effects, so learning how to write a brief to go from text to video. The reason why it's a great learning tool, Jonny, is because when you begin, you actually have a pre-written kind of prompts for you to edit and improve upon. And therefore you can see for yourself how it is written, and when you make changes, how it's reacting and so on, so that you can really hone your skills and as an kind of AI tool operator.
Fantastic. Don't forget that we've taken our first 25 episodes of apps and tools. We've put them into the Ultimate Website Toolkit, 50 handpicked tools to make you proud of your website. Again, just head over to 90daymarketingmastery.com/e-book. We'll put the link in the show notes. Let's move on to the website call to action.
Everyone, are you ready for the one change or one adjustment that can make life easy for you, for your visitors, and make your website work harder for you? So, Jonny, what is your recommendation?
I can't believe we've not recommended this before. We must have. But looking, I keep a note of the call to actions we've had, and I've not seen it. So video content integration, embedding engaging video content into your into your service pages, into your product pages, and ultimately boosting interaction and increasing that dwell time, getting people to engage longer and spend longer on your content and bringing your content to life. So I'm sure we've talked about video, but in terms of a call to action, something that you could do, one small adjustment right now, you could find some little videos that you've done perhaps on social, perhaps reels even, and see how you can embed those into some of your content and bring it more to life. That would be my website call to action.
I think even if it's been mentioned before, it's a different way of reminding people that video content is such a powerful format in terms of a trust score. If there was such a thing on your website, you would get it very, very high. Listen, I've got a similar recommendation for today's episode, and this one comes from a most humbling experience. I was part of a mastermind group about a week ago via Zoom, and one of the participants was a lady who's blind. And honestly, the conversation we had with her with regard to her accessing the internet and websites and information was truly remarkable. And I think that we all understand the theory of accessibility, but actually to have someone that can tell you what it's like for them was just amazing. So this is my recommendation in honor of this most remarkable encounter. I would go ahead and shortlist your best performing articles, look at the stats and listen to Jonny's advice on that from previous episodes, and then literally use AI to create a written summary. Once you have that written summary, make sure you edit and tweak it slightly. Convert that summary into two things, an audio version and a video version. And then once you've done those, embed them into your article just below the header graphics or just below the title, so that actually all visitors, no matter what they can read, watch, and listen to, will have that media experience. So you heard a moment ago about dwell time, but also if somebody is not able to read, maybe they're traveling, maybe they haven't got the right kind of computer with them, and so on and so forth, or simply they are visually impaired, they could select to listen to the audio summary and then use their own reader to look at the text. But what is lovely about the audio summary, that's something you've chosen to do yourself, whether that's your own voice being uploaded on AI or something that you've chosen. But yeah, I just think that it would be a positive step towards accessibility.
Absolutely. And on the terms of accessibility, watch out for a future podcast, because one of my tech or apps is an unbelievable WordPress plugin that totally changes accessibility on your website. So do watch out for that. There's a little teaser for you. But I absolutely agree that you can make some huge differences, and really embedding audio video is a fantastic idea. This has been the 30th episode of the 90-Day Website Mastery Podcast, your audio companion to the 90-Day Website Mastery Program. For more information, visit 90daymarketingmastery.com, where you can book a discovery call with either myself or Pascal. Thanks for joining us. It's goodbye for now, and we'll leave you with a fun video and audio montage to enjoy whilst you review your notes and actions. And we look forward to hearing from you soon, and we'll see you at the next podcast episode. Take care.